one of the worst people that Ghostface should ever call and ask, what's your favorite scary movie? Because I'd be like, Shawshank Redemption? That's pretty terrifying, yo.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Well, if I'm imitating that voice, it can only mean one thing. Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. Teach Film Preach, and if you're a lover of the Scream franchise, if you're a lover of films like I am, and you learn from films as much as I do, then you are in the right place. Click like down below and subscribe to my channel. Also, while you're down there, comment. What did you guys think of Scream 5? It's called Scream, but it should be Scrive. Scream is one of my favorite franchises of the horror genre, so let's talk about it. Requel, reboot, sequel, follow-up to the horror franchise originated by Wes Craven, Scream. Directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. These are the two guys that directed Ready or Not, a great horror comedy from a couple of years ago, and I love that they tapped into these directors to pull them into and take over from Wes Craven. Scream 2022 takes place about 25 years after the original Scream came out. One of my favorite horror slasher films of all time. Ghostface has become active again. He's killing people, all having to do and connect with the original people in the story of Scream, with Sidney Prescott, Dewey, Gale, and all of those three characters returning back into the world of Woodsboro. There are some new characters at play, some new actors that are in this franchise now. He tapped these really great up-and-coming actors, young actors like Jack Quaid from The Boys, Jenny Ortega. I can't remember the actress's name now, but she plays the main character in the Heights, and she is phenomenal as the sort of new Sidney Prescott in a way, but also with a different backstory, and which I won't get into because that is spoilers. And what they did with her story and involving it with Sidney was really smart, really cool and interesting, and I thought they did a great job of bringing that character to life. Though the character's last name, Carpenter, wink wink, nudge nudge, I wonder which director they're referring to in the horror genre there.
Oh. Yeah, oh, this is... Oh, so we're just...
So the blend of having the old characters and put together with these great, fun, exciting new characters and meshing them together was really smart, really interesting, a kind of a cool legacy characters and also the new characters. It was so great to have Sidney and Gale and Dewey back at it again, even though they're a little bit older, a little bit wiser in some ways, more experienced, more mature, and it was so great to revisit these characters that I loved.
It's happening. 3 attacks so far. Do you have a gun?
I'm Sidney Prescott, of course I have a gun.
It brought it back to basics. It didn't go too crazy. It went just as meta as the other films do, especially the first one. It also adds on to it. Trims out a lot of characters who don't need to be in the film. Focuses on like 7, 8, 9 characters, and that's it. And I love that they returned back to the basics. They returned to Woodsboro. They played a little bit of nostalgia with that, but they also pushed an original story ahead as well. These were the right directors to tap into this world because of their tone, their comedic timing, their vision, the way that they shoot horror. But while keeping it intense and pretty scary at times as well. This has some of the most visceral, violent, gory, bloody deaths out of the entire franchise. Really, hair-raising kills in this movie. Now, this film might be a little bit predictable at times, I have to say, but I still really enjoyed it. It is a fun ride. So actually, it ranks right in the middle of my list. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 2022, Scream 4, and then Scream 3, which is for sure the weakest. The fact that these filmmakers and writers created a Scream requel, as they call it in the film, they did it in a creative, fun, smart, intelligent, and scary way. I think they did Wes Craven proud. I think if Wes Craven saw this film, he would be very happy, very satisfied. He would be proud of what those filmmakers and the actors did with this movie. Pay homage to Wes while also building on his legacy as well. Some really good legit twists and turns in this film, even though I saw a couple of them coming from a long ways away. It still had other ones that I was like, what? Whoa!
First you were all like, whoa! And then we were like, whoa! And then you were like, whoa.
I love some of the needle drops that they put in this film, especially with the theme song that's from Scream, but everyone thinks it's the theme song from Peaky Blinders. No, Scream had it first, yo. Now, the story was a little bit repetitive in some ways, and I guess that's just the nature of slasher films, and especially if you're gonna set it back in Woodsboro with a lot of the original cast, there's going to be the same sort of baggage that comes from the first 3 films or first 4 films that's also in this one. Maybe a smidge long, where I felt the first 2-3 Scream movies were really precise and cut lean, and Wes Craven was a master at great pacing in his films. Like, not a frame was wasted. Everything is purposeful. His movies were only like 1:30 to 1:40, 45 minutes long. Kept the fat trimmed off in his films.
Cut you like a fish, understand?
Really concise filmmaking. This one felt a little bit longer. And it is almost 2 hours long. So it felt a little bit heavier in some ways, a lot darker in some ways. It ran a bit too much in certain scenes. 8 to 10 minutes that could be chopped off just from the suspense building that they're trying to do, or some of the dialogue between our main protagonists. But besides all of that, this movie was so enjoyable. I had such a great time at the movie theater. I was laughing, I was crying, I was smiling, I was scared. I go to these movies to have fun, to be rewatchable, and this movie has both of those in spades. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give Scream 2022, or known as Scream 5 in my books, an A-. So what did you guys think of Scream? Was it your favorite film so far of 2022? It should be, because it's one of the only ones that have come out so far. What would be your ranking for the Scream film franchise? I would love to hear it. And while you're here, check out Licorice Pizza, King Richard, or Spider-Man No Way Home. Thank you so much for checking out Mr. Teach Film Preach today. I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. Have a great day, everyone. Stay healthy out there. Stay focused. Stay awesome. And as always, let's get taught.